Welcome to another New Creature Repair. Today we have Marvel Select Disney Store exclusive Thanos on the repair table. It's not so much a repair as much as it is a modification. Um, in the review, I noted that he cannot look up. He can kind of look down, but even then, it's his chin going over one side and under the other. That's not what we're going to be looking at. Today we are going to be looking at the up function. So let's take off his head and I'll show you that. Right now it's just a circle, and because of how this is built on the inside, it can only go a certain point. So it can only go that far. But because of range limitation, he cannot look up. So what we're going to do is we are going to remove some of the plastic right up here. So first thing we're going to do is try to remove this ball peg without ruining the plastic. I gave this a dry run before and I think I scarred the plastic, but the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to use the toothpick for leverage this time. So hopefully I can do it without breaking anything. And there we go. See that? And there he is. And I have my lovely nurses, Thanos and Thanos, over here. Thanos is going to hold the ball joint, and Thanos is going to hold the head. All right. Thank you, nurses. All right, so I have not used these blades yet, and I want to give this a shot. I think this will be a good blade for this modification. It's kind of a hook. The cutting edge is on the inside, so you got to be careful with that. And this side is pretty smooth. So, all right, so we are going to mark this. We're going to use the collar as a guide. I'm going to mark it here and here. And the idea will be to shave the inside here just enough so the ball joint over here can kind of divot in and let his head tilt up. So let's give this a shot here. And we'll just go take it nice and slow. Just one piece after the next. Okay, and I have a little bit of this poster tack right here, and that'll help me pull stuff out if it's just sitting there stuck with static or just needs a little bit of some motivation. And so far I like this blade. And this is cutting really nice too. It's just taking off nice little shave pieces. And it's not taking off too much. And I don't need to press very hard. And that's a general rule of thumb with a blade in general. You don't want to press too hard. If you're pressing hard on a blade, that probably means you either need to replace the blade or sharpen it. So I am making a little progress. It's starting to shave in a little bit, and I need to be careful because the ball joint itself, if I shave off too much of that, the ball won't stay anymore. So that's why we marked off our points there, because we just want it to trough in. We don't really want it to have too much range, as much as we want it to key in a little bit. This out one more time. It's very helpful. Okay, let's see. So what we'll do is change our grip here, and we'll look for our boundary lines and just pull a little bit, and then it's always a pulling motion with this, at least from what I've experienced. You know, you want to draw your blade. It's a different function for different jobs. This is a drawing. You want to draw it through. Then over here, just draw, draw, draw. All right. Pull that through. All right, and let me pull out my files here. I picked these up at Hobby Lobby for something like 12 bucks. We'll use a, let's use a round file. Yeah, good old round file. This is the one I used on Mira's hips. All right, that's just to get the divot going there. Get some of those imperfections out of there. Let's smooth that down a little bit if we can. Come back in, make that a point so we can drop that into the hole right there. Spin it and pull it back out. All right. I'll pull out another file here. I think this one will be good. It has kind of a bevel on it. All right, and let's take out a little bit of our sandpaper here, see what we can do with it. Now, you don't want to go too far into the hole because you don't want to be messing up the integrity of the ball joint itself. It's just this back section right here. So make sure you're paying attention to what you're doing as much as you can. I mean, this is a do-it-yourself project. If this is something you want to do, you're doing this at your own risk. You know, I know I am. Shoot, this is I mean, this is slightly terrifying. Let me see if I have any finer grit. Here we go. I can feel that divot in there that we just made. Very cool. All right. Stick this back in here. Clean that up a little bit. All right. Well, I mean, it's not the cleanest thing in the world, but it looks like it might allow a little bit of tip back, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. Let's whoops, put the ball joint back in. Oh, this might be something that you want to check out here. I cleaned off the sprue because when I did my dry run, I pulled this out, and there's a little bit of sprue waste on the top of this ball, on the ball joint. So you might want to hit that with a razor real quick before you snap everything back together, because the less you have to snap this together, the better. All right. Let's see. That is a very tight ball joint. Let me move some of my blades so I don't slip and cut myself. There we go. There we go. All right, so it goes back a little bit further. I'm not entirely sure that's going to give us an upward motion though. a little bit. So it goes up a little bit. Just a little. Yeah, because that used to just kind of sit there and it wouldn't do anything else. But now we have a little bit of an upward motion. Now my motivation here is that all of my Thanoses can do this pose where they're hunched over and they're still looking straight forward. This guy can't do that. So I want him to be able to do that. So let's get back to it. Take off his head. I think we can shave that down just a touch more, and that might do it. Because it seems to be working, right? I mean, we have a little bit more give. So if we just key this all the way back and put a divot going back a little bit, like just a little bit more, like right through here. Like if we, let's mark that here. If we just use our previous boundary lines and just create a little template here. I think that right there, you see my little template right here that I set up. We're going to cut all of that out. And then we'll see what happens. Because I could have very well have just messed this guy up completely. But so far, I don't see any evidence of that. Yeah, when I take the blade off, I'm just rubbing the tip of the blade on the sticky tack there, just so it's kind of just like refreshing the blade so I can see where the edge is actually cutting. Shave it again. Shave, shave, shave. Shave and a haircut. All right. Again, make sure you don't go too deep so you're not scraping up the inside of the ball joint port right there. Now, I'm just kind of rubbing that through the trough right there that we just made. And you can see what we did here. We made a pretty hefty trough right there. So we're just trying to clean it up so it both looks good and doesn't hang up on the peg attached to the ball joint. Just a little bit. Only a little bit. Not too much. Because if you do too much, it won't hold anymore. I think I've said that. I'm repeating myself. Awesome. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Hit it with this. This is 1200 grit. So it's comes off pretty smooth. We're getting into the car grades with 1200. All right. There it is. Our divot. It's not 100% straight. I got some razor cuts in there. I'd like to make that smoother, but I mean, it doesn't need to be. It just needs to have that function. We can try to smooth it down a little bit, but if it doesn't go, don't force it. All that matters is that it's round and that it functions properly, because this is going to be hidden by the back of Thanos' head. So no one's going to see it anyway. You're going to know it's messed up. You'll always live with that, but you also have the benefit of knowing that you gave Thanos a better life by allowing him to look upward, onward and upward. Let's twist that through. Yeah, we got a ton of junk out of there. Look at that. All right, let's reattach this, and we will move forward from there. Oh, thank you. Come on. This is actually a good sign that this is so hard to put in, because that means I didn't compromise the strength of this joint. All right, so you can see now it can tip really far back, so it goes around and then divots in. So it would usually be like, what, right there. So we've got that much more play on his head. Let's pop this in. It's getting there. It's getting better. Yeah, we're getting his head off of his collar right here. So he's getting a little bit more play. He needs a little bit more, just a little bit more. And this is how you're supposed to do it when you're doing stuff like this. You don't want to just take a bunch out and then regret it. So you set your line and you just chip away at it and hope for the best. Let's keep going. Let's do this. So we'll set our boundaries again. And that's how much I want to remove. All right, see, let's get a little closer. That's what we're going to remove right there. All right, take our little hook blade right here and let's get to it. All right, I think that's gonna do it. I don't think I want to go too much further if this ends up not working at this point. I think I'm just gonna leave it the way it is and just call it done, because this is kind of making me nervous. It's the first time I've done a mod like this before on a ball joint, so it's kind of it's all based on theory. So I don't know. I didn't watch any tutorials to do this. So if this works, this is a tutorial. If it doesn't, then it's like a how not to video, which I'm hoping is not a how not to video, because I'd rather be right. I'd rather not have ruined my toy. Going in with the 400 grit just to give it a little more shape, to hopefully get out some of these little divots here. I do have a slight tendonitis, so my hands are starting to give a little bit, so I might have to cut this short anyway. I can feel my fingers kind of going numb, but we're still good. We're still good. Just need to take a little breather once in a while. Let's blow this out. We'll take our 1200 grit and start working this. I like to try to make it look like it was designed like this, but I mean, it's not absolutely necessary. Especially, like I said, this is technically not a pretty thing, so it'll be hidden by the head, and we don't have to see it, you know? So, but I do like to have that peace of mind that it does look at least somewhat nice, you know? I mean, I'm doing a lot of work here. Might as well do the job right. All right? All right. Let's get some of the junk out of here, too. While we're at it. All right. Nurse Thanos. Yep. At least you're consistent. Here we go. Hopefully. Ooh, that's tight. Okay. You see how far back that goes now. So it was originally here. Now it goes way back there. So let's snap on Thanos' head, and hopefully this is it. So he can get that hunch in now. Look at that. His head goes all the way to the back of the collar. I think the only thing now would be to give him a longer post in there. If I can find a ball joint, a double ball joint with a longer post in between, or if I can fashion one, I can just get a plastic bead and run like a piece of metal through it and make it just a little bit longer. But by and large, this is a definite upgrade here. So he can look up now, and it doesn't even look bad, you know? Like, I was concerned that shaving that would make his chin look a little bit weird, like detached, because it would have some gapping underneath, but it looks good. Check that out. So I would call this a success. And look, you can just barely see what we did here, this little cut right here. So it's good. We did all right. All right, let's see. So just tipping his head back, just making sure it's not as yeah, it was kind of wobbly, but it didn't have anywhere to go before. So I'd say that the play that's in the neck now is what would have been there anyway if that divot was built in. So I don't think it's any looser than it was, but there we go. And I think we did it. All right, let's get him in a poor posture Thanos stance. Great. So he's got a little bit of a hunch now. Not quite as deep as movie Thanos. Let's see. Yeah. Not quite as prominent of a hunch as these guys, but it is an improvement. I like it. I like it a lot. Dude. Comic Thanos, just stand up, dude. Do what I tell you to do. Alright. Yeah, it's not quite as prominent, but it does allow for more dynamic poses. And I like it. I like the difference that I can see. So that's it for my repair / mod. If you liked this video, give me a like. Please comment and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this modification. Do you think it was superfluous or if it's helpful? I really enjoy that he can look up a little bit now. Can't always be looking down on people, man. Sometimes you got to look up, right? All right. Yeah. Leave a comment in the comments below, and yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share this video if you found it useful, and hit that notification bell so you can see when I put up new videos. All right. Thanks for watching.